The opening talk today is Gary Belanger. Gary has been practicing at PZC since the tragic day of 9/11. He works as an electrical engineer, primarily handling technical support for an innovative company based in California. Outside of work, Gary enjoys recumbent bike riding and 3D printing. As a Dharma teacher in the Kwang school, he finds joy in supporting fellow sangha members and fixing things around the building. And answering questions today. Here he is. Zen Master. He's at the end of the list. Zen Master Dae Kwang. He's been a monk since 1987 and received transmission in 1996. Zen Master Dae Kwang has traveled widely, leading retreats throughout North America, Europe, and Asia, including 90-day retreats in Korea. His interests include meditation practices common to Christians and Buddhists. He currently resides at the Providence Zen Center. So thank you both.
Thank you, David. So the title of my talk today is chanting meditation and what brought me to the Zen Center. I've given the what brought me to the Zen Center talk probably quite a few times over the course of the years, but at least now it'll be in context. I usually have no idea what I'm going to talk about. I kind of struggle for topics, but again, this one came easy because we're having a keto after this. At 12:30, we're going to have a keto. If you're a first-time person here, or if you're a Sunday-only person, you're probably not familiar with the fact that we, in addition to have sitting meditation, we have a number of other meditation styles, one of them being chanting meditation. So you're all familiar with sitting meditation. We did that earlier today. You're also familiar with walking meditation. We did that also today. But again, there's several other meditation techniques that we use here, and one of them being chanting meditation. Another one being bowing meditation. If you actually come on Wednesday nights, we do have chanting. So Sunday is sitting and a Dharma talk, and Wednesday is chanting and sitting. So as I mentioned, we're going to have a little 1-hour keto at 12:30 today. Everyone's welcome. You don't actually have to stay for the whole hour. You can leave, come and go as you want. You can leave the room, come back in. You can leave at any point. In our school, the name of our school is Kwang. So it's Kwang School of Zen. And it turns out that Kwang, at least from what I understand, has a definition of sound, hearing sound. In fact, more accurately, it's perceive a sound. And then you can expand upon that, and maybe that'll be a good question for Dae Kwang sitting here during the question-answer period. So what is a keto? Well, it's basically a chanting meditation retreat. You can have a keto as little as, like today, an hour. You can have a keto that lasts weeks and weeks and weeks, or months. I think Kwan Hang Sanim did a super long keto that lasted how long?
100 days. Keto.
100 days?
Yeah.
So you chant for 100 days. So I guess the point being is that you're all welcome to stick around. We're going to have pizza after the talk today, and then at 12:30 we'll come back in here and we'll do some chanting for an hour. During that chanting, we'll do some of the more familiar ones, like the Hot Sutra in English. But we'll do Kwanse Ambosa chanting for an extended period of time. And during the Kwanse Ambosa chanting, we'll actually have instruments. There'll be a box of miscellaneous percussion instruments that will, so we'll all be chanting Kwanse Ambosa. We'll have our own instruments. And we'll do it loud, we'll do it soft, we might walk around. It's pretty random, but the energy involved with the keto is pretty good. And we even have some, king size instruments. And we even have a pipe, which I brought. Not sure why, but makes a kind of an interesting sound if you hit it. Sorry, so that kind of brings me to why I kind of came here to the Zen Center. And it's tied to chanting. So around the year 2000, 2001, there was a lot of problems in the world that really bothered me. There was wars. There was an election going on that was kind of a little bit nasty. It was, George Bush Jr. and I'm drawing a blank. Ralph Nader was part of the Green Party. Who's the running mate with Al Gore? So there was, division there. There was wars in the Middle East. There was terrorism. There was one religious group fighting another religious group, and Jews and Muslims and Christians, and it was a real kind of a bad time, and it really, really affected me. I started thinking that, I went to Catholic school, so I started thinking about, what the hell is going on? We got 3 major religions that all have the same God, but 3 dramatically different views of the world. So I started thinking about that. And it's kind of lucky that now we don't have any kind of those problems anymore. It's been 25, it's been like almost 25 years. We've evolved to the point where that kind of stuff we don't need that anymore. Yeah, and that's me being sarcastic or whatever the term is. So I actually started thinking about creating my own religion. I'm like, I seem to be the only person that kind of feels the way I do. So one day, me and my wife, we were at a bookstore. It wasn't Walden's, it was this other popular one at the time. I can't remember the name. It was in North Attleboro. And they had this for sale table. And one of the books was Great Religions of the World. It was like $5. So I stood there and I kind of looked through it, and each chapter was on a different religion. And I kind of thumbed through it a little bit, and each religion had, first page, what was the tenets, what were the pillars of that religion, what was the 3 or 4 main things, and it also had a section that says, what are the rewards for if you believe in that religion, and what are the punishments? So obviously in Christianity, the reward is you go to heaven, and the punishment is you go to hell. So I ended up buying this book, and I went through every religion. There was some Zionism and some really kind of vague ones, but when I got to the one on Buddhism, I'm reading it, I'm like, holy crap, I kind of feel that same way. It's the closest thing that kind of was what I felt inside. So I started reading more. And it was so simple, stuff like the Four Noble Truths. That each one of them made sense. I personally think 3 and 4 should be in one, but it should be the 3 Noble Truths plus one. And then the Eightfold Path and stuff like that. I'm reading, I'm like, this is super obvious, and this doesn't require any faith in anything. Avoid killing people. That's super obvious. Avoid having a career that preys upon other people. That hurts other people in some way or another. Selling, illegal weapons on the black market, for example, and so forth. So every single one of those just kind of made sense and stuff. And the big one was that you don't have to believe in anything. You just have to experience things. It's a religion or a philosophy that when it basically says, do what the Buddha did. Go sit under a tree for a number of years and you'll figure it out. You don't have to read a book. You don't need a teacher, although we have very good teachers here. But you can kind of figure out all of this on your own. So I got really interested in it, and I read a bazillion books. I made the mistake of reading a bazillion books. And then I started seeing if there was anything around here. Now, this was in 2001, so there really wasn't internet back then yet, at least not the way it is now. So you couldn't, Google anything. or at least not the way it is now, and at least the way the computer I had at the time. So I just started asking around, and somebody mentioned the Providence Zen Center. So I drove by, and I'm kind of peeking through the trees and stuff like that, and kept driving. A couple weeks later, drive by again, but this time pull into the parking lot, and there's like a person in the garden with this big gigantic hat, just toiling the soil. Yeah, not ready yet. Drive out. And then I heard that there was a yoga class here. And I wasn't interested in yoga at the time, but it was like a way to get inside the building instead of just driving by, because I didn't know what was going to happen when I walk in here. I'm like, they're going to shave my head. I'm going to be a monk. So I signed up for the yoga class, and it was on Saturdays, and we went upstairs in the upstairs Dharma room, and I started seeing like this guy walking around, and there was people that had shaved heads and wearing grapes. At the time there was Zen Master Dae Kwang, there was Chung Hae Sanim, there was Chung Wan Sanim, and there was Kwan Hang Sanim. So those were the four monastics that were here at the time. I think maybe one Il Sanim, not one Il Sanim, but I forget his name. He's the one that likes quinoa so much. So if he's here in town, everything has quinoa in it. But anyway, so I'm seeing these guys walking around. I'm not asking anybody anything. I'm going to yoga and stuff like that, but I'm scoping it out. So during the middle of yoga, we go to the restroom, but instead of just going to the restroom up there, I go to the one down here. And I'd walk around and I'd kind of just look at stuff, maybe look at some of the pamphlets and stuff, kind of figuring out is this a cult, or is this what the heck's going on here? So one of the classes, the yoga classes, there was this noise going on in the background. What the heck is that noise, right? So I came down here, and there was people in the Dharma room, which I didn't know even existed. I just two closed doors, and a whole bunch of noise, a whole bunch of chanting, not in English, and banging of drums, and there was cymbals, and they was going fast, and they were going slow. I'm like, what the heck is that? And it dawned on me, because I'm like, wait a minute. I don't know what that is, but I know it's for me. I know it's something that I need to look into and I need to do. It was one of the things that struck me, like when I mentioned that I read about Buddhism in the book. It really kind of struck me. And then I heard the chanting, and I'm like, wow, totally weird. Totally weird. But I'm totally weird. So it's a good fit. So I sat outside the room literally for probably 20 minutes. Every now and then somebody would go out, and they'd go to the bathroom probably, and then go back in. So it got louder when they opened the door. And I thought that was cool. So the bottom line is, I'm like, I'm going to go to this place. I'm just, I've already done my investigative work by driving by and driving through the parking lot and going for yoga. That's my inside investigation. So I decided I'm going to go. And that was on a Saturday. So I had my, plan to come on Wednesday night. Well, Tuesday, Saturday, so the 7th, I guess, September 7th was a Saturday, if I counted right. I planned on going on Wednesday, September 12th. Well, there was a very significant thing that happened in between the two. On Tuesday, September 11th, all hell broke loose. I mean, anyone that's of age here remembers it, so I don't have to go into detail. So I decided right then and there that I am definitely coming to the Zen Center tomorrow night, Wednesday night. It was the frosting on the cake for me in terms of just something else. I needed something else. Something I could not just believe in, but something that that made sense, that you could use rational thinking for. So sure enough, I came here on Wednesday. And Wednesday was a little different than we do it now. there was a public dinner, if I remember right. There was supposed to be 2 sitting periods, and there was supposed to be a Dharma talk, or whatever it was back then. It was a little different than it is now. But instead of doing any of that, the person that was leading it, I'm not sure if it was you or Chung Hastening, said, listen, we're not going to do any of that tonight. We're not going to have meditation. We're not going to do sitting meditation. We're just going to do chanting. And we're going to do Kwan Seum Bosa chanting all night. And one of the pieces that I left out, that I forgot, was that one of the friends that I brought that night his name was Adil. He's a Muslim, nicest guy in the world. He was shooken by it too. So he wanted to come. I described to him, what I thought it was, and he decided he wanted to come. Not to change religions or anything like that, just something needed to be done differently for at least that one night. So we came in, and they said, we're just going to do Kwan Seum Bosa chanting, and that's what we did. So we did Kwan Seum Bosa chanting, walking meditation, just in and out of the rows, out, through the, up and down the aisles. We didn't have instruments or anything like that, so it was just one person, and we just did Kwan Seum Bosa chanting, all night for about an hour and a half or something like that. And it was the thing that really said, okay, this place is weird. I'm weird, but let's be weird together. So that is kind of what got me here. It's the one thing that got me very interested in chanting. And in chanting, what's very helpful for me is that it's hard to get distracted. When I do sitting meditation, I'll sit down, and a couple minutes later, I'm just off in Never Never Land. And I bring myself back, and then I'm off, and bring myself back off, and so forth. So after 24 years, I'm still have a hard time staying focused. But with chanting meditation, it's much easier. You're reading words, you're with other people, your voice is being heard, their voice is being heard, so it's very, very helpful for staying focused. Very helpful. Because anyone that has followed me during walking meditation, when I lead walking meditation, kind of has an idea of what my mind's like. Unlike Kwan Hang Sing that goes around the room like we did today, which is awesome. Me, I'm through the aisles, I'm out in the sunroom there, I'm out on the deck. If there's the lines long enough, I'll take everyone through the Zen Center. So that's kind of how my mind works. But the chanting part of it, that just brings me back. I find it super, super useful. So I would highly recommend that you stick around if you've got time at 12:30. You don't have to stay for the whole thing. You can just listen for a few minutes and leave. But it would be nice if we had some new people during that mini keto. I think I've talked long enough.
Thank you. So any questions today? Yes. What? Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Keto, key actually means energy, and do means way.
Path, or yeah.
Energy path. So maybe it says a few words about
Yeah, I don't know why they use that name for that.
Right, like Chado is Key West or something.
Oh, really? Huh. I've never heard that before.
There's a general meaning on the back of that page that was handed out.
Really? What's it say?
Flip it.
Yes. Energy path, yeah. Path of energy. Huh. Yeah, I don't know why it's called that. So we use a lot of different meditation techniques. One of them is chanting, but he also mentioned we do bowing. Like some people will do like 3,000 bows a day for a couple of months. And those kinds of things are just techniques. So, as he mentioned, Buddhism is about experience, not about belief. So we don't care what you believe. Like, I don't even know what I believe. So, but that's not important. What's important is what you actually experience. So one of my favorite stories, I probably told the last time I talked, is we're in a restaurant in Kentucky, and we have this Christian waiter, and Zen Master Dae looks like that, so everybody knows he's not a Christian. So we go to leave, and the waiter runs around and blocks the door and points at Zen Master Dae and says, "Do you believe in God?" And then Zen Master Dae just looked at him and smiled. "Of course I believe in God. By the way, did you ever meet God?" So that's a very interesting story because it involves this belief versus experience. So meet means experience. So did you ever meet God, like experience God? People have, I guess. I don't know, or they think they do. So, but Eastern religions like Taoism and Buddhism, they emphasize experience over belief. And if you've ever talked to a Taoist, it's like talking to a guy down at the bank or something. You don't know what they're saying. But it's not really important. So most of the people that come here, I think, have a Christian or some other religious background. But religions in ancient China are much different than Middle Eastern religions. So Middle Eastern religions are always like now, the Druze versus the Bedouins, right? They stopped fighting yesterday, thank God. So the Druze are a kind of Islam, but nobody knows what it is because it's kind of secret. And I don't know what, I've heard that they have strange beliefs, but you don't know what those strange beliefs are, right? And then the Bedouins, who knows? So this kind of stuff is always going on. Like he's talking about 9/11, which happened when? 2001?
2001?
Yeah. So Islam is a relatively new religion because it's only from the year, 500 or so. Christianity is from the year 0. 30 AD, and Buddhism, the Buddha lived about 600 years before Christ. So the beliefs about all of these different things are always changing. Like one that really struck me recently, I learned that Jesus didn't believe in the separation of the body and the soul because he was an apocalyptist. He thought the world was going to end in the next 45 minutes. So we got until noon. But it didn't, obviously. So 2,000 years later, they're wondering, well, what the hell happened? Why didn't it end like everybody thought it was going to do, right? So the interesting thing about beliefs is they're always shifting. And so this idea that when you die, your body goes to the graveyard or somewhere, and then your soul floats up to heaven, that's a Greek philosophical idea. I never knew that. So that comes from Aristotle or somebody. It doesn't come from Jesus, and it doesn't come from Judaism. Interesting. So that's the belief side of things. Then what do you actually experience? So in Zen, that's what we're most concerned with, because Zen is about experience, not about belief. So I don't really give a crap about what you believe. I don't even give a crap about what I believe. I mean, you have to look around you and, wake up now. So one thing about belief that's interesting is usually beliefs involve things that happened in the past or are going to happen in the future. And Zen doesn't have that. because there is no past and future. So if somebody can give me a second of the future, I would love that, because I would like to grab a hold of it, because I'm probably not going to be there because I'm so old. So, or give me 1 second of the past, just 1 second, not even a second. Give me a millionth of a second of the past, and you cannot do it because it's gone, right? So that's interesting. So what are we going to do? Right? So that's where we're stuck. And the reason we chant is to come into the moment. So chanting is a technique that we use to bring you back to just now. In Zen, we call it just now mind, or Zen Master Sung Sung called it, was it the just now world? Moment world, yeah. So we live in the moment world, but we think, and believe me, it's just thinking, we think we live somewhere else. You know, like when I was a kid, when my kid was a kid, something, 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 something. You know. I've had 3 wives, and I can remember back then. Well, I haven't had any wives, but some people have had 3 wives, 4 wives, 5 wives. Probably if you're a Middle Eastern person, you might have had 14 wives. I don't know. So, and then you remember that. You can remember it, but you don't have it anymore. So it's just. And we even say that in English. It's just a memory, right? But those memories affect you, and they affect your like and dislike mind, your emotional mind. So that's why it's important to let go of them so you can come back to what's real, which is just this moment. So the air conditioning just came on, right? Did you hear it? And that's it. Sorry. So any questions there from that? Confusing explanation.
Hi.
Hi.
In the intro, it was mentioned that you received transmission. And I've heard that before in intro talks, but nobody's ever explained what that actually means. Can you say a little bit about
It's approval.
Oh, okay. From who? From who?
From him, from Zen Master
Okay.
Sung Sung.
To be a
And then
Zen
when
master?
he gets transmission, he'll probably, I don't know who he'll get it from, but he won't get it from him because he's dead. I do that.
What is the significance? What can you, like, there's input, right? And then there's transmission.
Right. So it's kind of like you're studying to be a priest, and then you become a priest, and then is there a higher level than priest? I don't know, a bishop or something, right? So you pass through a kind of system that approves of you as something. So this is approval for you to be a teacher, something, something, something. That's all. And then you die.
I think the word has, like, it makes you feel like transmission. Ooh, some cosmic rays were transferred from him to you. Anyways, so you had mentioned Zen being about, if I remember right, basically perceiving this moment as just this moment, moment to moment. Now, how do we use that ability to end suffering?
Yeah, right. So a lot of our suffering is made by our thinking, if you haven't noticed. You know, so you're still fighting with your first wife and you're married to your third wife or husband or whatever it is, you know. And then that makes you angry inside, and then you might even become mentally ill, I don't know. So we're always wrestling with our memories, our expectations about what might happen in the future. Like, I'm afraid we're going to have another 9/11. You know, I'm really afraid of that. And that can actually affect you emotionally, right? So that's, if you let go of those things, then they don't affect you so much, and you see this moment, which actually does exist, although it just went by, in a clearer way. So it's about making your mind clear. In fact, it's just like pushing a clear button on a pocket calculator. Before you use it, you want to push that clear button because you don't know what the hell is in there and who's been using it before you. And you might want to sanitize the keyboard too. You don't know, right? So your brain is in the same situation because it's processing all this crap all the time. And then you'll process it not in terms of just perceiving what it is, but you'll also add like and dislike to it. So you won't like the fact that the planes crashed into the buildings in New York City. Unless you're in construction, anyway, oh God, this is a wonderful chance for us to make some real money here. So then you rebuild the buildings, and now somebody else is making the planes and the bombs, which could actually bomb those buildings, maybe, who knows. And that's going around and around and around and around and around and around. So it's kind of like a circular process. So what you do when you start chanting or hitting his drum, every time you hear that sound, boom, you come out of that circular motion and you come back to just now. So it's about keeping this just now mind. So we do bowing, or we sit, or we chant, or we also have eating form, So all those things are just techniques to bring you back to just now, which is the only thing that so-called is, whatever that means. Does that make sense? It's just an experience thing. And I'm not here to make you believe in the moment mind. Experience it yourself. So my job it's kind of interesting that they call us teachers. We're not really teachers, we're pointers. So we're just, and that's all. It's a stupid job, but somebody's got to do it. Yes, please.
I wanted to ask a question about the precepts.
Yes.
In the tradition I came from, the precepts were pretty absolute. You don't kill any being. And I kept it up, a little hypocritically, like if there were roaches, I didn't kill them because I knew my wife was going to kill them, but I didn't kill them. But here, from what I gather, it's a little more fluid. It's not quite as absolute, so I'd like to find out the difference.
Well, in the, what is the Heart Sutra? It says, know when they're open and when they're closed. So, some traditions hold on to them as if they're absolute things, and others, like our tradition, particularly the Zen tradition, you use them to help the world. So, somebody's going to dump some kind of poison in the river and you're about a half a mile away, but you have a gun. I can imagine somebody might shoot that person before they actually do it, just to save fish or something. I don't know. But anyway, they're not absolute, they're situational. But what they do have is they have a finger pointing in a particular direction. And all the precepts share that, in that they're an expression of our concern and our compassion for the world. But that's always shifting all the time, right? Yeah, so that's why there's that different approach. But it's true in every religion. There are people that absolutely hold on to it. Like we have this new pope now. So people are really concerned with it. I hope he's stronger about our beliefs than the Pope Francis was, right? So this back and forth is always going on, what you're talking about. So some people, I think the important thing is to perceive the true meaning of it and what it's actually pointing at, rather than holding on to the, what you call it?
It's those things, the temple rules and what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, know when to keep them.
And when they're open and when they're closed. That means when to keep them and when not to keep them. So to help somebody, you might have to break the precepts. Or most of the time, you're just keeping them. But they aren't absolute rules that are permanent and eternal or anything. But they do point you in a particular direction. So that's the important thing.
It makes you ask the question each time. What should I? It makes you ask the question each time.
Yes.
That you face the
Right.
the situation.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And every situation is different. Yeah. So they're kind of like, I don't know what I would call them, general kind of pointing at something, like don't kill. Okay, that's a good thing, but you might have to given a particular circumstance. I don't know. I just don't know. Any other questions?
So, to go in a particular direction, to me, implies that, like, a continuity or multiple moments, because, you know, in the moment, I'm just standing here. So, like, how do you reconcile living in the, or focusing on the moment with actually planning or moving in a direction?
Right. I have no idea. But we do that, right? And that's just part of being alive. Like you drove your car here, and you probably have it parked out there. So you have to remember that you drove here a particular way. So you have to remember the past so that you can live in the moment. So it's about using your wisdom to process that stuff so you can do what you need to do. And we give that, what you're doing, direction by using these precepts as a technique for doing that. So Zen is all about techniques. It's not about what is actually going on. So if you come this afternoon and you chant, you'll experience some techniques that involve chanting, but those techniques are designed to clear your mind. So it's a kind of a very strong technique for making your mind clear. But usually our minds are not so clear because they're all wrapped up in our likes and dislikes. Right? Mine is anyway. So this is just a kind of technique to allow you to let go. And then hopefully the teaching has also points towards direction in that. It isn't to make it like nothing. It's to make it, give it direction so that it's love and compassion for all beings. So that actually has attachment in it, right? So it's attached, non-attachment. I don't even know how to say it. Please.
Hi, today's my first day here.
Good.
And
That makes you a winner, by the way.
I was taught a mantra to do,
Yeah.
but I was just curious, does everyone use different mantras or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's jillions of mantras.
So I can use whatever like
You can
resonates
use
with
Hindu
me.
mantras. You can use Christian. You know, Christians will say the Lord's Prayer, or they'll say the Jesus Prayer or something. You know, so they'll use that as a kind of mantra for meditation. And there's meditative prayer. They call it prayer, not meditation. So these are all just some words pointing towards the same thing. Yeah, so don't attach to it. So yeah, you can. They're all designed to let go of your thinking. So the Jesus prayer also lets you let go of your thinking. And who was talking about a Muslim man? Somebody. Oh, yeah. So Muslims have mantras too. And one thing, we don't see it here much in the United States, but I spent a lot of time in Malaysia, which is a Muslim country. And Muslims always carry around malas with them, right? And so what they're doing is using that mala, and we do that too. Use that mala to keep your mind here just now and to make your mind clear. It's a technique. And that involves a physical action of actually flipping this bracelet. Do you have one?
No,
Who's got one? There. Yeah.
good shot.
Good one. So, that's a technique. And that is a meditation technique too. So you're talking about which mantra am I using, Lord Jesus Christ, have pity on me, a human being. What is it? I can't remember what it is.
They're usually 108,
yeah,
or
in
they're a division, like a small one would be 27.
Right.
So
27, right.
what's the significance of 108? I know. I want to see if you do. No.
And by the way, you can buy one in the gift shop after this talk. Which is good. Yeah, so I don't know I don't know that much about Christian mullahs and nothing about the Islamic ones, although I see them all the time. So if you walk around our temple in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, you'll see all kinds of Muslims because there's all kinds of Muslim temples around our Buddhist temple, and people will have mullahs using them, or on the subway or whatever, the bus or whatever. So that's just a technique. Any other questions about technique?
I guess I wanted to talk more, wanted to hear more about direction. So yeah, we can be happy and practice and have a clear mind, and a clear mind can show us how to make more friends on Facebook or how to make more money in the stock market, and you know, like, why not go that way?
Yeah, right. So some meditation that you'll experience in the world out there is to give you a good feeling, right? So if you come to Gary's keto, you'll get a good feeling probably because you'll let go of your anger and your desire briefly, and that always gives you a big good feeling, not a small good feeling. So some people practice to generate a good feeling, but it's not about a good feeling, it's about making your mind clear so you can interact with the world in this moment in a compassionate and loving way. So that's the difference between like Buddhist meditation and kind of New Agey, I don't even know what they're called. What are they called? There's all kinds of New Agey, feel good, you know, we're going to dance and sing and paint flowers on the wall and everything's going to be wonderful kind of meditation. This isn't that. And the problem with that is, actually this kind of practice creates a bad feeling for most people because it forces them to look at their crap, right? Which never makes anybody feel good. Oh, God. You know, right? So it's not about creating a good feeling. It's about allowing you to let go. So it's about letting go. It's not about good feeling. And that's many times why people don't like Zen. They think Zen is bullshit. You know, I just sit around and get angry with myself and, well, hello, who's doing that? It wasn't me. Well, maybe me. Yeah. So it's about direction. So we do it for a particular reason, and this reason isn't so pleasant always, right? So that's just the way it is. Probably this feeling good meditation is very popular these days, right? Is it or not? Oh yeah, stress reduction and all that kind of things. So that's about you, but true meditation is about them or other people, helping other people, which is quite stressful, by the way, if you haven't noticed. It's time? Yeah. Good.
So thank you very much for your talks and your teaching. I'm going to start with a couple announcements for folks who are online or folks who can't always be here in person. Next Tuesday, we're going to have Kangen interviews with Zen Master Dae Kwang. That's twice a month on Tuesday nights. And Westside Zen on Thursday nights is also available online. And you can find information and Zoom links on our website. As Gary mentioned, we're going to have keto chanting this afternoon. Could I get a show of hands of who plans on staying so that we can order the pizza? 4, 5, 6, 7. That's right. We're gonna generate some good feelings. And then a few more announcements. We have a new Facebook page, so please follow us on our new page. We lost access to our old page, unfortunately, a while ago, so we are moving on, finally. Summer Kyulche is still happening. You could still join you could sit 3 days with Zen Master Dae Kwang, or 3 or more days with Zen Master Sanghyang, Bobby Rhodes, the head of the Quantum School of Zen. On Sunday, I think next Sunday, is next Sunday Art Club? Yeah, Art Club with Diamond Chris, now in the pagoda. You don't have to be a trained artist, just come and experience some artist practice. We also have, of course, upcoming retreats, a YMJJ, which is a 2-day retreat in August and September. You can sit one or both of those days. And Founders Day and Zenfest are coming up August 2nd and 3rd. You can... so you can register for that on the Quantum School of Zen America's website. Go ahead.
The first Wednesday of the month, Zen Master Tongong interviews here in person, and the third Wednesday of the month, I give interviews here. So it's in person.
Yep, so just to repeat for folks who are online.
And I believe starting maybe next month, Zen Master Dae Kwang will be giving interviews on the second Wednesday.
Okay, so bottom line, twice or 3 times a month, we have in-person Kongan interviews on Wednesday nights. And one time we have actually consulting interviews as well. And you can find that information online.
You don't have to go, you can just skip it.
We're definitely going, sorry. Yes, it's not required, but it's I was gonna say it can be fun, but that's the wrong word to use, I think. Interesting. Last but not least, consider becoming a member. As a member of the Quantum School of Zen, you get 10% of gift shop items, you get 20% off retreats, and you can do a guest stay for free here every month as a PZC Sangha member. Gift shop will be open, and I will just end there. Enjoy refreshments and or pizza if you're staying.